Well, hello to everyone. Nice to see you all here from the City Lab Biobío and from Corporación Ciudades, which I'm going to start talking about. It's me, Martín, Germán, also Helen should be somewhere in the screen, and Diego as well, and Diana as well from the team that is leading this project. So just to give you an overview of what we are doing, we want to start, talking about who is behind this initiative. So we work in Corporación Ciudades. I'm the executive director, and this is a very interesting organization because it's a partnership between the Chilean Chamber of Construction, TECHO, which is an NGO who is trying to push for changes in the access of houses for everyone, and also Universidad Católica, which is a very important university in Chile. Next. And one of the things that we are really pushing for changing is the fact that how we can reduce, urban inequality. And we know that there is not a silver bullet to do that. We're working in different areas, different territories across the nation, in our case, Chile, to be able to do that, and also to be able to really encourage leaders to take the right decisions. Next. And so this is kind of what we are working on, trying, as we say, trying to change the map, cambiar el mapa in Spanish. And we do that through different areas of work. Next. So we think that in order to make changes and in order to do a good planning, urban planning, and also to make good decisions, we need to measure things in a good way. We need to be able to create really good and safety space for the dialogue. We're also trying to push for creating agreements across the nation in different themes. And also we are involved in how we can make things happen, not just to measure things and talk about what needs to be done, try to promote dialogue and try to make agreements between different stakeholders to make things happen again. So next, please. So we started working in the south part of Chile, near Patagonia. I don't know how many of you know Chile. And we all been working also in very north, in the Iquique Alto Hospicio, which is, the driest desert in the world. And we've been working in Punta Arenas or Coyhaique, which is the southern cities in the world. So very mixed environment, very mixed cultures that we're working. Next. And over time, we've developed different work areas. So one of the main one is that we are trying to promote, we call them territorial agreements. So in a city scale, in a municipal or a neighborhood or a district scale, we're trying to promote long-term roadmaps in a given territory. So we kind of select what kind of projects needs to be done in the long term to be able to improve the well-being of a certain area. We also been promoting, we call them thematic alliances. So we kind of group entities that they share like a main, goal, and we kind of, help them to promote change in certain territories. And we're working in groups around climate change, aging, and also security. And finally, we're also working in, we call it advocacy, which is we try to create web platforms. We've been, very active in the media, and we've been creating this collaboration as the City Lab Biobío, which is the one that we're going to present today. So we're really trying to, which is connected with territorial agreements and thematic alliance. So trying to make these topics that seems really complex and trying to push, for strategies to make the makers make good decisions again. So the first thing that we did when we started is trying to understand what type of cities we were living, and we make this partnership between, again, the Chilean Chamber of Construction, the Biobío Regional Government, and Corporación Ciudades. This is a project that's been working for almost 3 years. And so we, at the beginning, we wanted to start really what kind of cities we were living. So the first thing that we obviously wanted to understand is, was things about mobility, how time, people spend, going from point A to B, and how is the proximity to certain services. Next. The other thing that we realize is how much time they spend on doing this, and the different context between municipalities, especially in the Biobío region. Next. We also realized that there wasn't a real understanding about the future, and really we understood that decisions makers were not making the right decisions. For instance, they decided to close a school in a certain area, even though they knew that this area will be very populated in the future, because a lot of projects are going to be in this area. So kind of reflect that these laboratories can make a big change in the terms that how politicians especially can make the right decisions. Next. So this is the context where the City Lab Biobío is working on, and this partnership with the MIT Media Lab, and the partnership between all the organizations that I mentioned, and also with a partnership also with different universities in the region. So who are we? So as I said, so our main goal, as it's written, is to model the scenarios that help anticipate the impact of urban decisions as a way to support city planning through data science. And of course, to achieve this, we rely on the technology and the knowledge transfer from our collaboration with the City Science group at the MIT Media Lab, as well with the different partnership that we've kind of promote over time. Next. So as City Lab, we are really excited not just to be part of this network, this global network, also to be able to promote partnership between us and to work together in different topics that we should be leading, and we've realized, due to the scope that we've been doing, that there are lots of different common topics that we should be working more together, which is for us is very exciting, and that's something that we want to promote during the summit this year. Next. So over time, this is kind of some of the examples of the partnership that we've created. So lots of these partnerships are local organizations like Puertos Talcahuano. We're going to go through them and highlight some of them. So we try to create like a special environment to be able to promote this type of work about our cities. Next. So I don't know, Germán, maybe you can talk about this, about the different achievement so far.
Yeah, okay, so quick stats since we last met, guys. We have from 2022, since 2022, more than 50 interns from a wide range of undergrads. We have sociology, engineering in telecommunications, computer science, architecture, geography, and graphic design. These are young, really self-motivated people that come to our lab and start creating things alongside our team. So many great ideas and projects have been born from these beautiful minds. We have a group here meeting with Ariel Neumann when he come to visit us last August. More than 4,000 people have participated in our workshops, master classes, seminars, and webinars over the past 2 years, which is, again, a great figure since we last met. This is my personal pride. More than 13,000 followers on our social media, especially on Instagram, who are watching us. They are interacting with us, they are chatting with us, and that is super awesome. And this is also super relevant because we have more than 400 media appearances in both national and local media. And that gives us a platform to discuss, to propose subjects, discussions, debates about our cities, how our cities are being planned, how our cities have been thinking about their future, about their urgencies. And so this is a great platform combined with our followers, combined with the interaction, engagement with the universities. Really promotes the City Lab Biobío here in Biobío and Chile. Martin.
And one of the things that it's challenging for a city lab like us is how you align different aspect about urban planning or the way how we are building our city. So generally community expectations are not aligned with the community expectations or the private expectation. The same thing with territorial or cultural attributes. Sometimes they are different or what the community expectations are. So we kind of trying to put all these things align, and we think that the City Lab is a really powerful organization and tool as well to be able to align those expectations and to be able to push for changes in a more community way. And so Diego, yeah, so yeah, I want to pass this to you. Please go ahead.
Hi everyone. As Martin said before, we have been working with the port in Talcahuano. That is a city close to Concepción. The most important part here is Talcahuano has a lot of industrial activities. It has like 2 or 3 ports so close to them. So it has a lot of impacts in the city of Talcahuano. And when the port authority come here, they saw the city scope and they asked to us if we can make something like that with an approach about the port. So the idea will be like making a platform like Cityscope, but more interactively. You can make different polygons, for example, points for new amenities, a polygon for a new building or new roads, measure the impacts with different indicators. For example, here, the first step, it was to making arrangement of a lot of projects that they already have, they are doing and they want to do. And we are making this platform in the next slides. I show you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The main idea here, it was not making something to reuse it. So they want a new platform. And the idea it was after this project, they will have the same platform in their servers, and also we will have the same in our servers. And we could make we can keep going on the same and make some improvements in this project. Also, we worked, as you said, as you are seeing, we work with a UX UI specialist. We make a good team with a backend engineer, front engineer, and also an UX UI specialist. And they make all of these beautiful views. 20 more seconds. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Wait.
And this is the last project that we are involved in right now. Yesterday, Luis made a huge spoiler of this, but we will be working for the next month in the metropolitan area of Concepción for the land uses plan. This is, as you said in the slide, is a bit older. It's like 15 years since the last one, and the last modification it was 2 years ago. But it doesn't consider a lot of things they are doing here. For example, this is not dynamically, and that is the most important point that we want to work in for dynamic urban planning, because 15 years ago it was a other region, and right now we want to involve new communes, we want to involve new highways. It was more population also. The urban expansion is pretty fast in some places here in Concepción. So it's so mandatory to start working with this, and also making this spread with a lot of data sources dynamically to keep the real picture of what is going on in our region. This video is pretty fast, but you can see how the urban expansion is going here since 2016. There is some places that is most remarkable. For example, at the south, that is just one highway, and they are making a lot of buildings and houses over there, and the traffic jams is quite the whole day. So it's a huge problem here. And also at the north, they are also constructing, making a lot of buildings and houses. And the next one. So the project involves to take the whole region of this Gran Concepción area, and the proposals are to make a new independence downtown or center for communes. We want to split the concentration of services, the density, and put another of them, other services in different places, so the people don't have to go here to Concepción, to the downtown, so they can make all of the errands in their commutes. The other important part is we are adding a whole new commune that is so close, but it has a lot of people right now. It's expanding so fast since the pandemic, because Florida is most rural, is most rural than the other parts, and there's a lot of people that they build their own houses, and that is a huge problem if you do that without a regulatory plan. And the other part, in the third part, they want to build infrastructure, critical infrastructure, to improve connectivity, like new bridges. As you said, here in Biobío, we have one of the biggest rivers in Chile, and it splits our territory in two parts. And already we have just 3 bridges in close to Concepción, but at the south there is other communes that they don't have any good connectivity. They have to go to Concepción or San Pedro de la Paz to cross the river. So the idea it was to make new bridges, and also to connect Coronel, that is one of the most industrial parts in Biobío, connect directly with the most important highway, la Ruta 5 Sur, that across the whole country. And the idea will be to connect directly from the Coronel to the highway without passing through Concepción. So this is the next one is that is the steps that we are already identify, and right now we're collecting a lot of data that modulate all of this mobility and population and all of that. The next step is to integrate all of these different sources, like public sources, private sources, and then the parts that all of the people here in this room already knows, the simulation scenarios, and then analyze this data and make some recommendations to improve the plan. As a huge picture, this is our stage right now we are developing this visualization platform for the regional government, and then we will analyze all of the things about mobility and transportation, the new bridges, the new roads, all of that. And then we will jump into the urban expansion zones to try to split these centers. And the last part will be to analyze the economic and industrial parts and also do the logistics here in Concepción. In October, we hope to give the last delivery or the recommendations from these proposals. And if we zoom up to the first step, next one, Herman. Right now we have these three sub steps. The first one to modeling these scenarios about the roadway and transport, then showing a preliminary data visualization tool, showing the baseline scenario and also what they are proposing for the future. And in June, we want to give this to the regional government to show the indicators that we are going to develop with this data. And what are the things we are doing here in the lab? There is a lot of micro studies. These are short-term studies or research that they want to tackle just one problem. It's so targeted, for example, the elderly people or the traffic congestion or wildfires. And we have all of these different micro studies in the website if you want to go and visit it. And we still keep working on this. We are trying to make a new one every month and keep in touch if you can, if you want to know more about this.
Oh wait, yeah. Just a quick note on these micro studies. This type of research that is really short term with a really specific objective has helped us a lot in the social media. I think we have a study that really jumped our followers numbers from like 7,000 to 11,000. So it has been a great strategy for social media, but also to get data from different sources that now Diego and Helen's team will introduce and combine to this challenge for this year. So it has been a really, really great work and strategy for the lab. So let's move on to this thing, the City Science Summit. I'm going to talk about the summit. This year will be hosted, as you know, by our lab in Concepción. Dates are October 7, 8, and 9. It is Tuesday to Thursday. But we hope you guys to arrive in Chile somewhere near Monday or Sunday. So each year in different cities around the world, the MIT City Science Network brings together its researchers and professionals to explore urban research, data tech, and science communication, which is, I think, is more a divulgation science for the city, right? In this year, this prestigious event will be hosted in Concepción from Tuesday, October 7 to Thursday, October 10. Our region will welcome scientists from Taipei, Shanghai, Israel, Hamburg, Andorra, Guipúzcoa, Toronto, Cambridge, and Guadalajara, and maybe some other folks from around the world, especially from Latin America. For the first time in the Global South, we welcome researchers and stakeholders from the City Science Network to engage in the conversation about cities in transition. And I want to talk about the things we're doing looking for the summit. One thing is, as you probably know, we're working with our network, with our partners throughout the world in these challenges that are really kind of the 50% that we want to showcase in the summit. 5 challenges, real quick. We're working In informal settlements in Talcahuano, we want to connect the technology that Hamburg has and the experience and research Israel has, and we want to connect them with the NGO Techo, which is the nonprofit that co-founded Corporación Ciudades, but is also a really large NGO working in, I would say, from United States back to Chile, covering multiple countries in America as a continent. And we're working also with INRA, which is technological institute. It's not a university, it's kind of below it, but they really have also really cool tech and they will to work in this challenge. We will want to work with Guipúzcoa, Inigo, in the mobility choices model to apply them in San Pedro de la Paz. San Pedro de la Paz has a terrible problem. Most people living there takes more than half an hour. I would say an hour to go from home to work to home, to go from work to home in the afternoon. So it's really a big problem there. It is a catastrophe by some authorities. And we want to see if the mobility choices model developed by Guipúzcoa can help us understand what's going on in San Pedro de la Paz. With Taipei and Andorra, we are working in the challenge of wine tourism in the Biobío Valley, involving four or five communes, really small cities, and to empower and to foster the wine tourism there. It is a growing industry. I think I told Roy once that our wines come back to the colonial times. There are some wine years that are more than 300 years old. So it is really interesting to see how the technology and the knowledge Andorra and Taipei has can work here. We're working also with City Science Lab at Guadalajara and the Myra's team in applying micro-credentials. We're working also with the Universidad de Concepción in this relationship between universities and to apply these micro-credentials in vulnerable communities in Concepción. So it is also a really exciting challenge. And the last one is strategic grazing with goats. We are working with folks in Shanghai and Andorra as well to see if strategic grazing with goats in Santa Juana and I think Florida can really help to prevent wildfires and the affectation to urban areas. So that is a year work. We're working right now in these challenges. I think the summit is a milestone to show how can as a network do towards these challenges and to connect and to transfer technology and knowledge. And I think it's pretty cool, and we hope it is not the first and last time we see this. It is our vision to do this every summit, right? In every summit. And also throughout the year, we want to do some urban activities. In May, we will be starting with this urban intervention. We're putting googly eyes in the trees at Gran Concepción. We want to playfully and creatively show that all eyes of the experts are on Concepción. All eyes of the experts are, of course, the eyes of the researchers in the City Science Network. So it's kind of to start moving things in the city around the summit for the people to pay attention on what are we doing, of what will be happening in October, and those sort of things, right? This is the first intervention. In August, we have another one. 10 data-driven art installations will seek to capture attention, highlighting the importance in both the process and the solution. This data comes from the micro studies, and we want to place in the strategic locations around the cities, so the people can also say that City Lab Biobío is working in the city, is researching the city, but is also proposing some strategies to improve our living here in the city, right? And in October, through tactical urbanism actions or elements that will change people's day-to-day experience, we're thinking of this more of a gift to the city. Tactical urbanism, I'm sure you're more an expert than me, but it kind of gives the city another vibe, right? And to see, for example, this installation for a bus stop is much different as an experience than see the traditional bus stop. So that's what are we doing this year in the road to the summit. This is the main schedule. We will be starting our summit Tuesday 7 with the network workshops in different locations. We will be going to Talcahuano, we will be going to Lota, south of Biobío, to San Pedro de la Paz. We will be going to San Rosendo, where the wine tourism challenge will be happening. So it's going to be really fun that day. We'll be have you moving to Talcahuano, to San Pedro, to San Rosendo, etc. Wednesday is the main event. Cities in Transition will transform the Teatro Biobío, the largest cultural venue in the country, into the central hub for urban science within the MIT City Science Network. We have a number of activities, installations, tech expo happening that day in the Teatro Biobío, so it will be really, really exciting to be there. And Thursday, 9 as tradition, touristic activities. Let's enjoy our region, Biobío. We want to explore our region, their landscape, their beauties, and their attractions, right? So we are working in 3, maybe 4 touristic activities for you to join, and we'll be going to visit some beach, some cultural, industrial heritage. We're going to wine yards to really, really enjoy the region, right? And that's it. That's all I can tell you right now about the summit. And we have some proposals. We've been working with the team at Cambridge. So the first thing is the network directors will be presenting at the main stage. It's going to be a different main stage. I think the challenge here is for you to be really, really, really creative on this one. For starters, it's not going to be like a theater, a traditional stage. It's going to be a circular stage, people seeing from all perspectives the stage. So you can network directors have the most difficult part here, because they will be in the circular stage trying to present from all sides. It's a 360 experience. The collaborative workshops, where we will be starting to work in the workshops, I think in May, with the help, incredible help with Maitane and Maggie. And also we have a space in Teatro Biobío during the main event to create an immersive experience, immersive exhibition, where we're connecting with Gabby in Media Lab to help us do this immersive experience in the Teatro Biobío. And we will be asking you guys to send ideas, to send prototypes, to send, to really brainstorm this thing and create a really cool thing in the teatro during that day. Also, we're welcoming proposals. If you have any idea, experience for October's tactical urbanism ideas for our city, think of this as I will say it again, as a gift from our city. It will be really great to have this tactical urbanism installment in the city and say, okay, this was thought by Gipuzkoa and Shanghai as a gift to Gran Concepción. So it will be really great. It will be really interesting to see you all on board of this. And lastly, but not least important, social media plan. I am the head of communications. I see social media, so I'll be contacting directors and researchers throughout the City Science Network to ping pong, right? Some ideas to get things started more close to October, September than now. So we can do also really fun, creative things in our social media. That's it. I hope I wasn't too fast, but
That's
That's
it.
it.
Yeah,
That's
so that's
it,
it.
yeah.
So yeah, happy if you have questions and want to share some ideas, say something, and hopefully you are now super excited to come to Chile and spend time with us and do some fun work, not just working.
Maggie has even the colors.
Hi,
Of
Maggie.
Hi, Maggie.
She's
Yeah.
in yellow
Nice
today
to see you, Maggie.
for this moment. I mean, like
In support of City Lab Biobío.
yeah, I wish as a detallista as she is, because I am in pink, so I am supporting our team. Sorry. No. No, congratulations. This is amazing. I think wow. I knew 90% of the presentation, but I think when you put everything together from Corporación Ciudades to the summit, it's like you can understand why the lab is so successful in Chile. I don't know if people in the call, they have any questions.
Well, I just want to, first of all, say how impressed I am at how the lab there in Biobío has evolved and the impact you're having. So first of all, congratulations. It's really exciting to see. I'm also impressed at how enthusiastically you're preparing for the summit and the connections you've made to the other labs. And I love the installations, the tactical urbanism that you're planning. I mean, that's all fantastic. I guess I'm wondering if we can work towards highlighting some aspect of this notion of dynamic urban planning and zoning ideas with a Biobío case study. And actually, first of all, a question about like how you're thinking about it. I mean, this is how I think about it, that city development is primarily shaped by two systems. One is the master plan, and the other are the zoning regulations. So the master plan kind of sets the long-term vision, the goals, the structure for the growth of a city. And I'm interested that the regional plan that you highlighted, which goes back to 2003, wasn't updated until 2023. So that gives you, some compelling sense of how static this is. Then you have the zoning regulations, which really translate that longer term vision into the legal rules that govern land use and building heights and densities and all those other specifics that are within the framework but not defined by the framework. But both are very static, they're hard to change. And so I guess my first question is, how are you thinking about dynamic urban planning? Are you referring to the master plan, the zoning regulations, or both? And but more importantly, however we define it, can you identify, or can we between now and then identify a community in Biobío where we could prototype and hopefully eventually deploy ideas for dynamic urban planning?
Diego, I don't know, you want to give more detail about the work that we're planning?
Yeah, I can answer already, I know, but right now we are thinking the dynamic urban planning for first this land uses plan for the whole region or for the metropolitan area, but don't we are not in a specific commune right now as like Catalcahuano. We want to work for all of that because the form that we are metropolitan area has, it's so centralized in Concepción. So we can make the zoom in with just one commune. We have to see all of them at the same time, try to make the things working together, because during the day there's a lot of people moving from, for example, Coronel, San Pedro to Concepción, Talcahuano to Concepción, or between those areas. So we are thinking like a semi-regional plan, like this metropolitan area, and about a community to make a prototype. That is a really good question. But if I can answer right now, probably a good pilot will be this new commune, because they don't have any baseline to start working. So probably if we propose something new for them, they could take this as a pilot and try to make this working on this commune first, and then expand for the others.
So you're talking about Talcahuano, the port, as the area? I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
No. I was thinking that Florida, the new commune that they are not right now in the land uses plan. They are adding this commune for the future, for the new land uses plan.
Okay. All right. Well, great. Let's continue. Luis, I know you're engaged with that, so we should see if because I'd love to be able to highlight, as an example, how we can apply these ideas in Biobío. That would be fantastic for the summit.
Yeah, I think like Diego, he's very strategic, saying not Florida because it give us some time, etc. But I see Talcahuano probably as one of the good places because they have the port, and it could be a good excuse for the port also to to collaborate in the digital twin and the dynamic part. So because the port has some initiatives that they need to update constantly. The city as well. So I think that project could be fantastic for dynamic urban planning. But we will have. There are conversations there. No pressure. But I think the beautiful thing is that Guadalajara, Guipúzcoa, Biobío, and Andorra somehow they are facing the same challenge of regional. How can they start using digital tools for regional design or regional urban planning? And I think this idea of in that context, once that you digitalize the region, what if you have like a specific case in a city or in a community to have dynamic urban planning is fantastic. So I think everything is aligned somehow for doing this. And I think Kent and I, we are we don't want to wait until Florida gets on board, blah, blah. I mean, it's fantastic if we can get projects with places that they're already like, sharing data, and you have already the collaboration, because that can speed up the process of the the dynamic urban planning.
Great.
Just to add on that, so there have been lots of attempts from the regional government to deliver this regional planning plan, and there have been many reasons why they were not able to deliver it, but it's mainly due to the conflicts between different parties and different stakeholders. So we think that we have a great opportunity to put technology, put science into the middle of the conversation and make those agreements. And what is interesting and is related, I think, this idea that we're talking about is that most of the studies that fit this plan were made a long time ago. So kind of how you can update that data and go out through a process that the data is updated all the time is really interesting. Generally when you plan things, you go step by step, and the first step is generally doing a diagnosis and collecting data, and then you don't update that data. So being able to go through a process updating data all the time, I think is going to be fantastic in this case.
Marcus, yeah.
Martin, is there a series of KPIs that are governing kind of what this regional plan is supposed to achieve? Like, who sets the goals?
Yeah, they are, and they were set. It's been a transition. So these plans were, before were led by the Ministry of Housing and Urbanism. And then, so they set the principles, and then they transferred all the work to the regional government. So kind of, I don't know if Diego, if those, KPIs or, main goals are kind of, were transformed during that process as well, and maybe we can shape them as well, or reframe them.
See them as a starting point, because I think that what Kent was talking about, it would be good to have how would we target success for the various winners, and how do we align all the interest groups? Like if it's ecological, if it's social, if it's whatever, so that we can start breaking it down and create those scenarios that support each other. It's like building Legos.
I think
all good at.
You were in the meeting with Javier last week, and he was talking about these 7 principles they gave. But it's true that
we haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, Biobío has not shared yet with us the 7 principles. So we were asking Javier, listen, what are these 7 principles? And he never gave it to us. But
why is he hiding them?
I don't know.
I think they're more blur, and I think one of the things that happen is that the pressure and mainly the focus, at least what the governor said, is that it's mainly about environmental, I would say, things, and for instance, even the airport was in the master plan as it was going, during the process, it was selected as a conservation area. So kind of there was a first attempt to try to balance the environmental surrounding of Concepción with the economic growth and other things, but it seems that everything went to the environmental side, not taking into consideration other aspects. So I think the principles were a bit blurred. So they were written, but a bit blurred in terms of what we want to achieve, which was a mistake, of course.
I had a question as well. I wanted to congratulate you all on the prep you've done so far for the summit. It's so exciting. I think it's going to be really wonderful to bring everyone together there. And in sort of that vein, I wanted to talk a little bit about your approach to collaboration. So I think we saw it initially in your lab that you were folding in so much of the community, including, multiple universities, working with the government. And now in the way that you're working with the City Science Network, right at the same moment when we're starting the dynamic urban planning work across the network. So are there thoughts that you have on how do you manage collaborations? How do you fold in or get connected to so many stakeholders? And maybe in parallel, what's it been like so far to work with the City Science Network?
Diego? Or I go, okay, so the challenge for this summit was, okay, we need to connect the City Science Network somehow to work alongside in somewhat, right? So I think it was Fernando's idea to work on really specific challenges in Gran Concepción, to identify these challenges that were really easy to connect, kind of a plug and play technology to them. So the first thing we did was Diego first in that first stage was to scout what do you have in your lab that can we use in these challenges, right? So we connected with nearly all the labs, and they tell us, okay, we have this, we can do that in this challenge. I'm interested in this one. I can develop this technology in this one. It was kind of for example, Taipei would call us into a meeting and say, okay, we can do all of these things, but you connected with whatever challenge you have. So we said, okay, we're going to connect it with tourism to foster the wine tourism routes in Valley of Biobío. So, okay, we have the technology, the lab, and the challenge now with the help of Diana, which is the head of engagement and outreach, try to connect with NGOs, with local organizations, with people in these challenges. So in the wine tourism challenge, we connected with Corfo, which is a public-funded venture capital business that has been working with some organizations trying to do their own thing, right? To connect businessmen, to connect public authorities, to connect people, to do, again, foster the wine tourism routes in the Valley of Biobío. In the formal settlements challenge sheet, we connected with Andorra. They have this technology called BEAM, and we connected with Israel. We have their own research on informal settlements. So, okay, informal settlements in Chile. Who's the leading NGO here? Techo, of course. Okay, we're going to connect the challenge with the labs and their technology and research, with Techo as a local NGO with knowledge on the informal settlements, and we're trying to do kind of a more research-focused challenge. So we're working on formulating that research question. We're really in the first stages there. With Gipuzkoa, they tell us in the first meeting, okay, we have this mobility choices model. We can train them to see if it works with the data you have in Chile, in Biobío. So, okay, mobility choices model with Gipuzkoa, where do we apply them? Where is the main urgency regarding mobility in Gran Concepción? Of course, San Pedro de la Paz. What data do we have? What data we have must to collect to train the model? So that is kind of the workflow, right? And I think the methodology of this is kind of the more intuitive, more bottom-up than top-down, because it's kind of a new thing. So I think maybe we can tell you after the summit, okay, we should probably have done this, or you shouldn't do this, okay, or this is the first thing you should do, right?
Yeah, thanks, Herman. It's helpful to just see that whole workflow, because it's, you're at this point now, but it's pulling so many things together. And I know you've just collaborated since your lab started. So
yeah, I think what works best is, I'm a journalist. I'm trained as a journalist, so I kind of have this lot of information from newspaper, whatever, in my head. Diego is the head of data science. He's the technical guy. And Diana she's the head of engagement. She knows a lot of people. So kind of say, we can do this here. Diego says, okay, we need this data. Okay, Diana said, we can connect these people. And they will turn in.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Biobío team. That was amazing. So I think in the next weeks we are gonna probably share more information about all the accommodations for the travel, information about the workshops, also like specifically for the speakers, for the directors, more information about their presentations. But yeah, like stay tuned, and we will see you all in a month, more or less, for the next network meeting. Okay?
Nice.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.